The coach is John Evans. It's John's 10th varsity match, and he's hoping to turn the tables on Oxford here tonight. So are their student supporters who've made the journey to the Stoop to cheer their side on. And the Oxford contingent will be confident of continuing their dominance. They've won the last two games, and Cambridge hoping to put that right. Team O'Connor. Now, is that Team Terence O'Connor or perhaps Team Paul O'Connor? And there is the Cambridge coach, John Evans, and hoping that this time his side can get it right. They've prepared well as the two sides take the field, and already a bit of fancy footwork and a great deal of nerves and anxiety ahead of this game. The teams have been here in good time, probably too much time, Barry, and it's been noticeable. There's been a fair bit of fretting.
Yeah, if you look at both teams there's some big units. We were watching the Cambridge team get off the coach, and some big fellas, and you can tell that the university students on that run out then, nearly all of them going the right way. Unusual for rugby players, but a lot at stake here, a lot of pride in this fixture, and you'll see a lot of determination from both sides.
The referee is James Child, his first game in charge, I think, in a varsity match, and preparing to get the game underway. The two sides just going through their pre-match ritual, both in a huddle, both eyeballing each other at the moment. There's Matt Bray, just laying down the law to his Cambridge side. Bray, very good rugby league pedigree. He's former Eccles and Salford junior, went to Salford University, and played for Ulverston Amateur Rugby League Club as well, Matt Bray, so he knows the game well. This is his third varsity match, and he's due a win. 2 defeats, so Cambridge certainly hoping to turn the tables. 38-10 losers last year, lost 20 points to 14 the year before to this Oxford side. And it's going to be Oxford who'll get us underway with Hugh McCormick, and Oxford won the toss and chose to kick. And both these sides in good form going into this game, both on the back of big wins, so there's no shortage of confidence, and there'll be no shortage of passion either as the 29th varsity match gets us underway, sponsored by P-Cubed. And hats off to the sponsor. It's the 11th year of their involvement in this particular match, which is a great dedication from them. There is Dan Garbett, Oxford's coach. A little breath of anxiety from him as his side takes on John Evans' Cambridge side. And Cambridge in possession.
And already you can see that the Oxford players flying out the line and trying to put the shots on the Cambridge players. Last year it was very similar. The first 20 minutes it was blood, it was guts. Cambridge really taking it to Oxford, but Oxford had that class. But it's going to be interesting to see, Bill, how they get on with the loss of Simon Dewsbury, the loose forward.
Yes, Dewsbury has moved on. But there is a remarkable return of number of players returning for this game. So they know what it's all about. Offside against Cambridge, a bit too keen there from Will Brewster. He's quick, but he's not that quick.
And this was a poor part of the game last year for Cambridge, the kicking game. Again, they've just made 20 yards, but given away the penalty, inviting Oxford now into their half, and they'll be straight in attacking mode. They need to improve on the kicking game, do Cambridge.
Here we are, guys. On his foot, on his foot.
So Oxford, with the penalty, up to the 40-metre line. Two balls on the field at the moment.
Okay, on his foot.
Whitehouse just removes them. Josh Venner with the tap, and here's Phil Satterthwaite, another one of the newcomers to the varsity match, but he's met by that Cambridge defence. And here goes Ballou, the big guy for Oxford, Anthony Bradley, known as Ballou to his teammates. Oh, that's a wild pass. It went behind Venner, and a bit of a tangle from the Oxford side. Venner having to retrieve it, and he's closed down very quickly by Freddie Humphreys. Wild pass.
2 new halfbacks in place for this Oxford side, and I think they need to get some cohesion, get the team going forward. But if they can play open rugby like that,
Well, here's the danger man, Batstone. He was the danger man last year, but a foot in touch. This time, Cambridge know all about him. He got 2 tries inside the first 20 minutes, did Batstone. But they weren't going to allow him that sort of luxury this time.
Cambridge ball.
Very fast, pacey player, chooses the outside. Tries the big, don't argue, but gets shoved into touch.
Stetchman across very quickly
Measure
from
got
full-back
tight
for
arms around,
Cambridge to
shoulders.
make the tackle on
Hands
Batstone.
around on your second row. 2 hands. Stay.
It's his 3rd varsity match,
Out.
so that's a relief for Cambridge.
Good shot.
But Rupert Wingate-Saul felt that.
Hugh McCormack, as Tez has already said, has got massive shoes to fill. Simon Dewsbury was a real talisman for this Oxford side. If he can come up with shots like that, I'm sure he'll inspire his teammates.
Go.
There is Matt Bray,
Movement.
taking the ball up for his side. Humphreys again, seen plenty of action early on, Freddie Humphreys. This lanky second rower in his 2nd varsity match. Former Bradford Grammar School player, Freddie Humphreys.
They need to get away from Oxford's tight 3 because they're really tackling in numbers and they're just really hitting up in ones. They need to spread the ball out wide. There's real big gaps because Oxford are so condensed up the middle of the pitch.
Keep 10.
That's the boot from James Hunt at 6 for this
Play on.
Cambridge side. Not the best kick. He has got a very good kicking game, Hunt, but that wasn't one of his better ones.
Go.
Humphreys tangling with Batstone after the ball had been played then. There's no shortage of spice here.
Second.
That's the second bit of pushing and shoving that Batstone's been involved in.
Third.
Plenty of passion in this game, though.
Hold. Set.
Some good shots.
Go.
Won't be too long before we see a ball dislodged. A big tackle.
Lock with the short ball to
Move.
Paddy Boyle.
Hold. Go.
Big prop forward plays the ball. Now here's Pete Forster. Distinctive orange boots from Forster. Well, that was lucky. It didn't go into touch, says the touch judge. Looked as though it was guaranteed to. Batstone gets another big hit from James Shearman. It's good defence from Cambridge.
Outside. Give 10.
And McCormick with the boots. And that wrong foot's Max Stetchman, and Stetchman came for it, then it had to retreat for it. Oh, that was high.
Stood very deep when he was kicking that ball. Here's the nice little flick inside, just on the line. Perhaps his foot left the line as he caught the ball, but excellent skill, a good kick chase. And trying to make some dents in them in defence.
The two sides just eyeing each other up at the moment. Cambridge in possession then.
Go.
Paddy Hunt plays the ball. Shearman now. But a reception committee there for Shearman. Oh, and problems for Oxford's Josh Venner.
Go.
Looks as though that can't be cramp already.
Stay. Movement. Hold. Go.
Certainly off the field having treatment.
Outside.
Could be a thigh strain that. He seems to be stretching the front of his leg. Perhaps a thigh strain picked up in these early 5 minutes or so. Oxford will have to rearrange now. He's the half-back. In and around that middle, he'll be marshalling, directing his team.
Go.
Batstone plays the ball. Here's Forster going across the field, but he is collared by Paddy Hunt. Good work from the second rower. He was on him in a flash, assisted by Ignacio Quintana. This Spanish loose. Oh, big hit, that was. And that was Shearman.
The Shermanator.
The Shermanator. That one will sting. The Sherman tank.
What about this? Spots him.
James Shearman, and then there's a little compliment afterwards.
And gives it him as well.
That's the sort of thing to lift your side. Here's Paddy Hunt.
Second.
So Cambridge lifted by that. In possession, the first real threat on either line this is. Still some distance out. There is Shearman.
Move. Hold.
Playing in his 4th varsity match, Shearman. On the attack now with Hunt. Hunt the ball to Carl Schroeder.
4. Move.
Schroeder plays the ball.
Marking off. 5.
George Sykes. Bray, the captain. That's the 5th tackle.
Line. Go.
What will they come up with here? Hunt maybe put a little grubber kick in, fires it in, it ricochets, but it's going to ricochet over the dead ball line, and that'll be a tap on the 20.
But what inventive play, but what about the shot? A little kick here from Hunt. This is where they were really poor, and talking to John Evans last year, he thought that the kicking game really let him down. The short kicking game, They always seem to go for the sticks, but this is the big test now. Can Oxford get down the other end of the pitch? Because Cambridge have done all the hard work now to keep this Oxford side up in their territory.
James Sherman with the hit, and in fact Sherman has gone into this game with a real problem, in fact, because there's his father is seriously ill at the moment, and it was touch and go whether James Sherman would actually play. His father wanted James to play tonight, even though he is, as I say, very seriously ill, and James is dedicating this game to his father and desperately hoping that he's going to win this one for him, and he certainly got off to a good start. But Oxford looking to come back. Here's Ballou, Anthony Bradley. They've got some big figures in this Oxford side.
Outside. Give 10. Give 10.
There's the kick. It's over the heads of Will Brewster, and Brewster able to gather it and then bring it back.
Again, the kicker standing very deep. If you're going to be inside and kick chase, you need to be level with the kicker. When Oxford are kicking the ball, they're almost 50 metres back.
This time Oxford putting the hit in. It was Paddy Boyle, not quite so effective. Here is Sherman once again. Up to the 40-metre line. Well, there is Josh Venner. His involvement in the varsity match tonight, very short-lived. Knee problem by the look of things. Certainly putting the shoulder in these two sides. Paddy Hunt up to the halfway line for the Light Blues. That kick is charged down. Play on, says the referee. James Hunt in receipt of it. Hunt finds Carl Schroeder. Schroeder is tackled. It's back to 6, says James Child, the referee. Here goes Ali Glass from the wing. Right up the middle of the field. George Sykes. Paddy Hunt straight up the middle again.
He's had a big start, hasn't he? Needs someone pushing up a little halfback on his shoulder.
Instead they go out wide. The ball with Aaron Sonnenfeld, one of the new recruits to this Cambridge side. Sonnenfeld tackled just short. They'll try and burrow over, will they? Just short again, says the referee.
Go.
That ball is intercepted, and Oxford could break away here. Cambridge back to cover, just in the nick of time.
Danny O'Driscoll got that ball and pinned his ears back after about 25-30 yards. Realised he didn't have the pace, looked for support.
O'Connor's got through one, he's found Batstone now, and Batstone will take his man out on the outside. He'll beat his man on the outside. He goes round Stetchman and gets the try. Doesn't like the tackle. And Batstone, just as he did in last year's varsity match, catching Oxford on the Cambridge on the counter-attack, and Oxford gets the first points of the game. But it was the interception, the breakaway from Oxford, from Danny O'Driscoll, that really set this up.
It's all about the last tackle options, coming up with the right decision at the right time. A fumble gives Danny O'Driscoll some open space, looking, finds somebody on the left, up in support. Oxford take the tackle, decide that the joy and the reward will be on this play. Lovely little show inside. Paul O'Connor, really influential last year. In and out from James Batstone, who's had a really aggressive start. Paul O'Connor again, so elusive, so evasive, gives a nice little pass, and that's what every winger dreams of. The in and out, gets the ball down. Good start for Oxford.
McCormick then with the conversion attempt. He's dragged that one right across the face of the posts, and he knows it. The look says it all from McCormick. But Oxford are ahead by 4 points to 0, and James Batstone continuing where he left off last season. 2 tries in the victory last year for Oxford, and getting their first try of the game. He has got terrific pace.
He has got a lot of pace, and he's aggressive as well for a winger. But these O'Connors have got some style, haven't they?
He can't possibly be related to you with that footwork and pace. Well, that's a satisfying start for Dan Garbett, but just getting presumably news of Josh Venner from the touchline. So Cambridge restart, Oxford with the try, but with the problems as well, I think. Venner is off the field.
know, when you play rugby league, it's all about transition, and when you've come up with a mistake at the other end of the pitch, you've got to regroup, you've got to gather, and the first place you've got to defend is around that ruck, because that's where the threat's going to come from. You've got to close it down, get numbers in the tackle, and try to slow them down.
O'Driscoll plays the ball on his own 40-metre line. Will Lock for George Smybert up the middle of the field, right up the middle of the field from Smybert. Took a good tackle from Matt Bray to bring him down on the halfway line. O'Connor back on the inside to Satterthwaite. Satterthwaite is tackled, that's the 5th tackle. And they're going to turn the ball over early on in the piece. So let's get some news of these Oxford injuries, at least to Josh Venner anyway. Here's Ben Pro.
The latest on Josh Venner, Bill, it's a left knee problem. Has the eye supplied, as you see. That was after a course of the magic spray for the engineering student earlier. It's a cartilage problem, but the Oxford bench are confident that he can return very quickly in this game within 10 or 15 minutes.
Venner hoping to return.
That's the difference already. When Cambridge take the ball, there's the injury. It just gets twisted down by the Cambridge players. But look at these forwards running for Cambridge. Every time they go, they're in ones. There's no support play. Oxford, there's a flood of players following the ball carrier every time they move forward.
Well, Cambridge looking to do something about that. Now down the wing with Brewster. Brewster gets the ball back in field. Play on, says the referee.
I thought there was a knock on there, Bill, as well. Ball left on the floor and they tried to pick it up. Last tackle option.
Good kick ahead. Oh, and the fumble by Paul O'Connor.
That's the result they were looking for. Bobbling along the floor. Paul O'Connor, little option really than just to go for it. And unfortunately, because of the pressure that Cambridge were putting on, he fumbles the ball. Here's the potential knock on.
Oh, if there certainly wasn't one from Brewster, then it looked as though there was from Sonnenfeld, but play continues. Cambridge continue. Ali Glass back in field, did well to take that pass, but a good tackle from Hugh McCormick. Sykes. Freddie Humphreys again. Humphreys trying to force his way over. Oxford stand firm right on their own try line. Again, a short pass, and they are over this time, are they? The try is awarded, and it's the captain, Matt Bray, who's got it. Leading from the front, the Cumbrian. And that's exactly what his side and their supporters needed.
Matt Bray, the enforcer of this Cambridge side, took a brave ball there and used some nifty footwork to come up with that try. But the Cambridge side needed something. Here's the knock on. I don't think it was a knock on that. I don't know whether that was a knock on. It didn't touch the floor. But here's Matt Bray. Look at the footwork there. He steps off his right, sees where the try line is, his body position as he goes to the line. And it was a good catch as well. The ball was above his head. He's reached up, and that's exposing his ribs. But he knew where the try line was then.
So the former Salford University student gets Cambridge on the scoreboard. The scores are level, and James Hunt with this conversion attempt to put Cambridge in front. And he's a prolific goal kicker, is Hunt. He's got enough on his mind. He's got an exam tomorrow morning. He's actually in the middle of his exams, James Hunt. No celebrating for him tonight if Cambridge pull this one off. It's back to university and into the exams tomorrow morning. But he's passed that exam as James Hunt. He's kicked Cambridge into a 6-4 lead.
I'm not sure about his celebrations. John Evans delighted with that score. That's been the story of this opening 10-15 minutes. They've been really tight to the ruck, running hard, running strong. It's Matt Bray who gets this Cambridge side off to a start. Just good, hard, strong running.
Put it on the line, mate. Put it on the line. Cheers, pal. Make sure we stay behind, guys.
Good support for these two sides here at the Stoop. Good turnout as well for the pre-match dinner, if you saw at the top of the programme. Over 300 people in the hospitality suite at the Stoop. The great and the good of rugby league there.
Yestin Harris was the...
And Barry and Terry.
Yestin Harris was the speaker, and as we see a mistake from the Cambridge side. Oh, dreadful little knock-on.
This is where you must concentrate. As soon as you've scored a try, you're all huddled back and you walk back. You've got to keep your focus and your concentration, because you see a lot of mistakes. As soon as you've scored the try, you seem to relax. They're back in the game, but they've got to build on that pressure.
It was Rupert Wingate Saul who made that error then. There's a good rugby league name for you.
2 hands on the ball, mate. 2 hands, Pete. Not 1 hand, 2 hands. Stay!
So Oxford in a great attacking position from that error. Will Lock to Pete Foster. Foster going across the field.
First! Move! Hold.
Tackled by Luke Tyson he was. Paddy Boyle now, this big 6 foot plus
Second!
prop forward for Oxford, but he's driven back.
Go!
Again, Humphreys in with the tackling. Tyson there as well. The ball with McCormick. Again, they're going across the field, but eventually reaches Dan Whitehouse. Whitehouse comes back in field.
Hold! Go!
Boyle.
Move! Hold.
4 tackles gone as Oxford press on this Cambridge line. Buchanan finds Forster. They're looking to get Batestone free again.
Please, hold. Go.
On the last now. Will Lock will put the kick in.
Clear.
Cross field.
Play on.
Stetchman underneath that one and takes it well. It was Will Brewster, in fact, who did well there to take that kick.
10, go.
That's a brave take, that, with players, the Oxford players putting so much pressure on.
2,
But
move.
look at this for a take.
Hold. Go.
The men coming out, bang, as soon as he catches it. But look, they've made the play there. Rupert come up with a mistake, but these Cambridge players, there's some of them down on the haunches, but they seem turning up for each other.
Saw Will Brewster on his haunches there. He's another one who's picked up an injury ahead of this game. He's dislocated his finger in training on Tuesday, and that's heavily strapped. And so there's all sorts of bumps and bruises, and we've seen Paul O'Connor in action, and the word is that O'Connor has got a cracked rib or a badly bruised rib cartilage ahead of this game. Here he is now, the fullback, and that can't be very comfortable, especially less so when Luke Tyson lands on top of you. Here's Batstone now, looking to get round the outside again. Hunt will close him down, and Hunt does well to take him into touch.
Do you know, we've given James Batstone some raps, but I'm not a big fan of wingers running directly into touch. You can only do the in and the out when you've got a bit of space. Stay on the island, lad.
Yeah, but you've got to give the lad some credit as well. He's confident in his own speed, isn't he? And he come up with that try earlier on because he backed himself.
His confidence was misplaced there because he got pushed in touch.
I don't think you've ever been that confident with your speed, have you?
Did he ever go round the outside?
Many times. Many times.
Ball. Go.
In my back garden.
Okay, we'll go
Here
next.
comes Cambridge then. There's a lot of that in this game.
2, move, hold, go.
Stetchman plays the ball on the halfway line. Here is Freddie Humphreys again, and Humphreys beats the first line of defence. His tackle on the 40-metre line.
John Evans, the Cambridge coach, definitely thinks there's a weakness around the Oxford ruck area. They all seem to be targeting the big guys behind that ruck, trying to get them quick play of the ball to take all the energy away from this Oxford side.
5,
It's the 5th tackle.
5.
Is George Sykes, and they're running this ball on the last one. Aaron Sonnenfeld, little kick ahead from Will Brewster. Brewster chasing that one, and O'Connor is going to be pinned down inside his own in-goal area, and that'll be a goal line dropout. That's good work from Cambridge.
It was
Brewster's
well
little
spotted.
kick.
Well spotted. They decided to run it. Brewster puts a kick in, chases hard. Paul O'Connor, with his back to play, can only secure the ball.
Stay behind.
Giving away a dropout.
Okay.
Paul O'Connor with a smile on his face knows it could have just as easily have been a try.
Not the best kick from McCormick, and James Hunt is underneath this one. Runs into Bradley. He's another ex-Bradford Grammar School pupil. Here's Matt Bray then, the try scorer for his Cambridge side. Bray gets to his feet and makes a mess of playing that ball. The referee says play on. It's with Ignacio Quintana.
Go. 13, roll.
Now Sykes pops the ball up. Shearman looking for a second. He's over the line, but I think he's held up. He is, says James Child.
On the 10
Credit
metres.
those plays to
Play the ball
George
on the 10
Sykes. He's
metres.
picking the ball up.
Fourth tackle, wait for
As soon as he
wait.
sees a disrupted
Wait.
marker, he's picking the ball up,
Wait.
committing that first marker and putting his mate
Okay.
through that block hole.
4.
On the fourth tackle, Cambridge continue in possession. Here's Paddy Hunt. Hunt heading towards the sidelines. Manages to stay in the field of play.
Go.
Here is Sykes, scrum half in last year's varsity match. The kick is stabbed through and they're offside. Quintana
Hand over, accidental
miles offside.
Again, I'm not sure whether that's to do with the depth. Both kickers. Here's the potential try. Just can't get his arm down, but great defence from Oxford. Smothered the ball.
Go. Play on.
O'Connor. He's also trying to go around the outside, and that's a loose pass. It's put Pete Foster under pressure, and Cambridge, their tails are really up now. They lead by 6 points to 4, and Pete Foster, nowhere for him to go, and Batstone is given the full reception. Cambridge are fired up now.
It's going to be interesting to see what John Evans does when he takes Sherman off and he takes Paddy Hunt off, because they've made a real big impact this first 23 minutes. They've been putting the Oxford players all under all kinds of pressure.
Short pass from Will Locke to Pete Foster, but Foster is cut down by Ali Glass. And here's the big Kiwi now, Sam Whitehead. He is a monster. Played Aussie rules back home.
Hold, go.
6'5", I think he is.
14,
Kick
15.
downfield from McCormick.
Play on.
Max Stetchman now runs the ball back. Straight up the middle, the fullback.
That's a reward for good line speed from Cambridge. They restricted the progress that Oxford made. They're on tackle 2 here, and they're almost up to the 30-metre line.
Second.
Will Brewster actually played for Oxford in the 2006 varsity match, but he's now at Cambridge doing a Masters.
Third. Clear. Hold. Go.
Cambridge in possession with Sykes. Sykes down the short side to Rupert Wingate-Saul, and Wingate-Saul moves the ball on.
On the 10.
Played by Sonnenfeld. Coming from deep now with James Hunt. Hunt looping pass out to Carl Schroeder. Schroeder going on his own. Big unit in the centres. That's the 5th tackle as Schroeder plays the ball.
Clear.
The kick from Sykes across field, that's going to be too deep.
20.
Only just.
Last tackle options again. They need to take advantage of the opportunities that they're making for themselves, Cambridge.
We're gonna have to penalise you. Right.
Good line speed, good defence, got them in that position, and a wasted opportunity.
On his foot,
Well,
guys.
Cambridge have
Wait
every
for his
right
foot.
to be confident. They've lost only one game this season against
When you're
student
ready.
opposition, and that was against Nottingham Trent University. They've won their particular division of the Student Rugby League in the Midlands. And that's the first time in 10 years Cambridge have won their division, so it's a confident side, although they do play a division lower than Oxford, who have had a tougher season. They've won only 2 games in their particular division this season, but playing against tougher opposition, including Uwick, Cardiff, the Cardiff University, and they ran them very close.
But whatever your division you're playing in, Bill, it builds confidence when you get them results and you get them wins.
Offside against Cambridge.
7, you're offside.
Well, a good crowd here, and among it, Abby Akoku to the right, Paul Sculthorpe in the middle. Former Saints captain here with his chairman, Eamon McManus, who is Jason Critchley, I think, seeing there. So it's a star-studded crowd here.
It's amazing what folk will do for free wine, Bill.
That's outrageous. Oxford on the attack
First. Move.
with Sam Whitehead.
Go. Foot on the ball.
And now Boyle, they've got the big units out there. Boyle, 6'5", Whitehead 6'4". It's Boyle who gets to his feet. That's a long way to climb, plays the ball. McCormick, maybe if he backed his judgment, he's out-backed his judgment, he's just short, he stretches out, double movement. It was a knock-on, in fact. Well, I thought it was a double movement.
Come down, yeah.
McCormick's got a whack on the nose as well.
Hugh McCormack with white line fever here, just can't resist. putting his arms out, can't keep control of the ball.
Mitch, we're locking.
You're right, Bill, that pass was on. If he'd have given that to his outside man, Oxford would have scored. He took the chance and took the option to go himself and just couldn't resist getting that ball out.
Tight heads.
Loses
Push
possession.
forward. Come on, mate. Come on.
So a let-off for Cambridge, who do look a bit fragile on their flanks.
Move. Go.
But they've escaped that time. Stetchman
Second.
runs into Sam Whitehead. Whitehead,
Go.
an engineering student. Well, no, in fact, he's a particle physics student, and he's worked on the Large Hadron Collider, which Phil Clark knows all about. They're on the charge again, Cambridge. Shearman, oh, he couldn't give the pass in time. It was a great run from the prop forward, and Oxford have snapped it up.
A fantastic run from the Shermanator. He saw Sam Whitehead, the number 14 with a head guard on. He's a big unit, very immobile, quick step, can't find his support player, and just takes that option. Just couldn't resist. A little bit more composure from both sides, and you feel there's some tries to be scored.
Back comes the Oxford side. It's a good ball from Danny O'Driscoll. Found Pete Forster, and Humphreys is there as well. Good tackle from Freddie Humphreys, assisted by Mark Sweeney. Here's Whitehead once more. Farmer's son from Canterbury in New Zealand.
Go.
Oxford on the attack with Will Locke
Play
now.
on. Play it out. Play on.
And the kick
One.
picked off by Cambridge. And Paddy Hunt will bring it away.
Will Locke needed to look up there because the numbers he had outside there,
Hold the 10.
that was a poor option. There was 4-5 to 1 defenders there, attackers there to the one defender. And I think that Will Locke will look back on that with regret.
2. Hold. Go.
Here's Sherman once more.
Third.
He's had a big opening 28 minutes, hasn't
Well,
he?
he's got good rugby league experience. 4th varsity match. He plays in the summer for St Ives Roosters in the conference. He knows the game.
And a big prop forwards last 28 minutes without going off.
Are you looking at me there?
Go.
He's a former Arnold School pupil in Blackpool, is James Sherman. Well, Freddie Humphreys wasn't anticipating that pass from George Sykes, but he managed to keep a hold of it.
Clear.
Batstone takes
Play on.
the kick straight into his arms, and that's dangerous.
1.
Paddy Hunt tried to put a big hit on him. It was Freddie Humphreys who completed the tackle.
Come on, mate.
Good position by Batstone to get under that ball, but a better kick. They're looking for the position now. They're trying to put the ball behind this Oxford side and play them in their own territory.
Third. Movement.
Phil Satterthwaite takes the tackle just inside his own half for Oxford. Here's Hugh McCormick, managing to stagger his way over the halfway line. He's lost that ball. A little knock on from McCormick, and no, he can't believe it.
Knock on.
Again, the Shermanator, number 10 in your picture there, along with his hooker, just making it difficult for McCormack to get up and play the ball.
Quickly down to the sidelines for some more injury news from Ben.
It's a forgettable first varsity, I should say, for Josh Venner, Bill, because the injury that they hope would heal up quickly is more severe than at first thought. It's actually a small tear on the patella, and now he's only got a 30% chance of taking a further part in this match.
So that's a very short evening's work for Josh Venner. Very disappointing for him in his first varsity match, the Minehead Barbarian.
15, come off the side. Play on.
Knock on there. Ball in the hands of Oxford now, and in the hands of Sam Whitehead. So plenty of errors, but plenty of endeavour as well. Here's McCormick.
First. Move. Hold 6. Go.
Sherman just going without it that time. Here's Whitehead. Offloads that ball. And this is Quentin McFarlane, tackled on halfway. He had an eventful build-up to this game, managed to walk into a door frame.
Go.
And nearly knocked himself out. Here's Pete Foster. Foster pops the ball over the top to Paul O'Connor. And again they've got Batstone away, but this time they've done it with a forward pass. And Batstone not impressed with that decision.
They're a confident side, this Oxford side. They're just looking to promote the ball at every opportunity. Batstone again, hugging that touchline.
As you're
but
playing
the pass went forward. But they're not afraid to throw the ball around, take this Cambridge side on out on the width of the pitch. But Paul O'Connor
guys,
has
let's
started
lock in.
really strong, as
Come
has
on,
that man in your
hands
screen,
around.
Baxton.
it. Stay. Out.
It's with Oxford and
One,
with
move.
Rupert Wingate-Saul.
13, you're off. Okay.
Now the fullback, Max Stetchman, with
Two.
Cambridge.
Move.
Just moving inside the Oxford
Hold.
40.
Go.
Sherman again, no sign of him having a breather.
Third. Movement.
Number 17 in your screen there, Quentin
Go.
McFarlane. He's the guy that will take Josh Venner's role.
4.
He's done that for all but, you would say, about 30
14,
minutes. He's
you're
done
off.
reasonably well.
Okay. 5.
Sherman takes the tackle, could have had a penalty there,
Like
does
ball,
have a
Matt,
penalty,
like
and that
ball.
was silly from
Still
Quentin
got all his
McFarlane,
right.
just hang on to his heels. Now then, will they go for the 2 points here? James Hunt is striding up to where the penalty has been awarded, that was it.
That's Sherman again, isolating a smaller defender. It's a legs tackle. He then is allowed to get up and play that ball. Quentin McFarlane, I'm giving him a rap and he gives a penalty away. He has no other option. It's a quick play of the ball, unless he surrenders and gives away that penalty. Everything's right back down the ruck. Everything's big fellas going at good angles, going really, really tight, tiring out the bigger players for Oxford.
James Hunt then with this conversion, or this penalty attempt. You've got to look at how clear that number 6 is on the back of that Cambridge shirt. Very clear numbers. Very well done, Cambridge. And Oxford as well there. Nice and clear. That's how to number your shirts. Because I know some people are very particular about that.
Is there a reference to anything there, Bill?
Hunt successful with that penalty goal. And Cambridge extend their lead, albeit to a narrow 8-4 advantage.
And they look very confident. You can see them all jogging back now. They've got a bit of a lift in the stride. The guy on the left-hand side there is a guy called Brian Chambers, who coached Barry at Barlow level, didn't he, Barry? And he actually dropped you for your last test.
Warrington.
You still don't like him now, do you?
Brian Chambers is a lovely fella. Don't be stirring any trouble up.
Dan Garbutt just inquiring as to Josh Venner's fitness. Brian Chambers, a Warringtonian.
He is a
Yes, he
lovely
is.
fella. He gave us our opportunity and probably opened the door into professional rugby league for me and the likes of Darren Fleary and Paul Anderson and a couple of others. So a great judge and probably rightly dropped me.
Well, they've got some good rugby league grounding, or coaches with good rugby league grounding. John Evans, St Helens lad. Brian Chambers, a Warringtonian. Of course, a busy day for the Warrington club with Tony Smith moving in there. It's today's big story, but the big news here is who is going to win this 29th varsity match. And at the moment, after 35 minutes, it's Cambridge in the lead.
And again, the little half breaks are starting to come around the middle of the park. That's because of what all the big hard work the big guys are doing. In the first 10-15 minutes, they were getting clogged round the head. They were not making any yards, but they're taking energy away from this Oxford side.
Play on.
O'Connor, he really is good on his feet as the fullback, but he's off his feet now.
Held. One. Both off. Markers
Tackled.
off.
Did you say he had a cracked rib, Paul O'Connor?
He's got some rib injury. They're not. It's getting like Super League, this is. They're not being particularly forthcoming about the extent of his injury in case the opposition find out. But he's got some sort of rib injury.
Go.
A cracked rib. I had one of those from the Chinese
He
last
wouldn't be playing,
weekend.
would he? Oh, right.
4. Move.
Still at it,
Line.
though.
Go. Walk on.
Little fumble from
Walk on.
Quentin McFarlane.
Scrum
All the
Cambridge.
pressure that Freddie Humphreys had put on in the tackle and then at the play of the ball. And then just losing the ball. That's criminal, that.
That's my favourite, that, the grip.
The
Getting
grip.
that thumb round the ball.
Tight
The
heads in the
thumb round the
scrum.
ball.
Loose forward hands
He's had a big
around.
first half as Freddie Humphreys in 11 for
Stay
Cambridge.
out.
I understand Freddie Humphreys is a Widnes fan in actual fact, but here goes James Hunt for the Cambridge side. Hunt is
Move.
tackled by George Smybert. But Cambridge have got Oxford on the back foot.
2.
Stetchman.
Right. Hold. Go.
Oxford managing to regroup.
3rd.
but Cambridge only about 5 metres away now as they play the ball. It's the third tackle. Again, they go for the drive. Whoa, big hit. 3 in there.
Hold. Go.
Stetchman felt that. Now here's James Hunt. And Hunt again fancying his chances up the middle. Quentin McFarlane with the tackle. That's the 5th tackle. Hunt tied up, playing the ball, so it'll be down to Rupert Wingate-Saul to put the kick in. It's a neat little grubber. That is a good kick, and well played by O'Connor. Bravely done by O'Connor to get his way out of trouble there.
That's a good kick, and it's good pressure from the Cambridge side, not allowing this Oxford side to make any yardage. This is a bit of bravery from Paul O'Connor. If he's carrying a rib injury, he's not showing it tonight, is he?
Here's the captain, George Smybert. There is Paul O'Connor.
Go.
Another West Country lad out there. Several of them in between these two sides.
Movement. Hold.
Quentin McFarlane now, his role important with Josh Venner off the field. Back on the inside to Danny O'Driscoll, cousin of Ireland's Brian O'Driscoll and son of another rugby union international, John O'Driscoll, who will be here tonight, no doubt, watching his lad in action. All that kick bouncing beyond Stetchman, and Stetchman looks up and Batstone is there. That's what they call him. Oh, and a mess at the play the ball. And Ali Glass has to redeem the situation, and Quentin McFarlane, well, he's made 1 or 2 errors, but there's no doubting his enthusiasm since he's come on.
Third. Movement. Move to the side.
Will Brewster plays the ball on the 40-metre line. Here is Freddie Humphreys again, and Humphreys doing well once more.
He does pick a good line, stands wide on the left and takes a nice cute little line into the ruck area. And I say again, that's where Cambridge are getting a lot of joy. George Sykes picking up, committing that defender. Again, very deep with the chase. Kick, sorry.
That's the rugby union coming through, isn't it? Batstone runs that ball back.
Move. Go.
Plays the ball. O'Connor picks up and goes. And again, they're wise to the danger posed by the Oxford University fullback.
Hold.
There's something of the Tony Duggan about Paul O'Connor, a very elusive runner. And Pete Foster, another good open field runner for this Oxford side, but not allowed to make progress beyond the halfway line. Here's Quentin McFarlane. McFarlane pops the ball up to Danny Seuss now, off the bench for Oxford.
You think that in the second half, particularly towards the end of the second half, there's going to be some points scored from around the ruck, because the big lads are doing so much work, especially the Oxford players who are defending. But you've got to give credit to them, Bill. This Cambridge side, they train at 6:30 in the morning to get up for this game. They've played 10 games, as I say, the confidence of only losing 1 going into this game. I think that's why they're in front.
Will Lock with the kick. Well dealt with by Ali Glass.
1. Move. Hold.
Half-time approaching then, and this game really is evenly balanced, because just 4 points separate the two sides.
Go. 15, you're off.
Cambridge just ahead. Aaron Sonnenfeld got a whack there as he took that ball in. Now it's with Matt Bray, the captain of Cambridge, who is tackled, and that's the last play of this first half. Bray gets to his feet. He can feel satisfied with his team's effort. So can his coach, John Evans.